I have a very special guest today. He is the mayor of the town of Cutler Bay, Tim Meerbot. Welcome. But before we start, I want to tell everybody what the show is and who I have on a weekly basis in case you've never watched it before. We bring in politicians, ex-politicians, charity groups, and nonprofits, and we basically just sit around and we talk and we ask them questions. And if I don't like the answer to their questions, I call BS. But I'm sure I won't have that problem with Tim. So welcome, and I guess I got to read
on that one if I can.
I gotta read the disclaimer.
Okay.
The views and opinions expressed here are those of the host and guest, and not necessarily those of community newspapers. So thank you. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Do you want me to start off with some softball questions or go right to the hard stuff?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Okay, let's start with some softball questions. So you are the mayor.
Yes.
And you were a council member in seat 1.
Yes.
In 2010. Have you been council member from the whole way through and then ran for mayor? I mean, did you do 2 terms as council members?
No, I did not. I did 1 term as a council member, and after my first term, I ran for mayor and was defeated. And it's actually probably a blessing in disguise because shortly after that, my wife was diagnosed with colon cancer, and we battled that for 3 years before she passed away. So I guess God's plan was stay there, take care of her, which I did. And then after that, I guess I got to rest, take a look at things again. I've always liked to be involved with the community and said, all right, let me go ahead and throw my my hat back in the ring and see if I can go ahead and do something positive for our community.
That's great. You've lived there your whole life, right?
Lived there I guess
for the most part, from what I've read.
Born in Daytona, moved there when I was a baby. I don't remember when. Not much was there when I moved there, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll get it. You've also spent time being managers for baseball leagues and soccer leagues.
I think I've coached. I grew up playing baseball and football in Cutler. We called it Cutler Ridge at the time. So then when I had children of my own, I started coaching. So yeah, I've coached baseball, I've coached soccer, I've coached football, done it all, and did it for a long time.
So you're all around active and good guy. From what I hear, anyway.
Yeah, I hope so. I was raised by a family where we were involved in the community, so wanted to raise my family the same way, and hopefully they'll do the same thing as well.
Kids?
I have 2 boys. My oldest is 26. Him and his girlfriend just moved up to Davie because she's in pharmacy school, and my youngest son is got married last year. He graduated University of Miami. With a degree in music, graduated at FIU with a degree in chemistry. Just got got accepted at the University of Miami for his PhD in chemistry, and his wife is dilated a centimeter as far as I know right now. So might be
in the middle of this interview, if you see somebody run out the door, you know what happened.
I'm gonna be a happy grandpa by then, hopefully. So.
Yeah, it's always the first one, though, right?
My first one. Yeah.
Oh, does it make you feel old?
Not yet, but I'm sure it will be very quickly. When first somebody calls me grandpa, I'm going to go, wait, what?
So anyway, if anybody has any questions while they're watching this for Tim, we'll try to get to it. Oh, we already got comments?
I like this one a lot.
Which one? The one that's hidden?
Yeah, but no, it's on the bottom of the screen there.
Do you see that? Has Mayor Meerbot ever considered merging with the village of Palmetto Bay? I don't think he needs to stress in his life. So we'll let that one slide. Okay, so I was born and raised in basically Palmetto Bay, and when I lived there, when I went to high school and everything, we used to think, okay, Cutler Bay's or Cutler Ridge is what we called it, the Ridge Rats, is like a step down, from Palmetto Bay. But I got to tell you something. I'm very impressed because what you guys have done since incorporation has really exceeded, I think, everybody's expectations, and is actually a very, very, very nice community.
I appreciate that. That's one of the things I am proud of is Cutler Bay seems to have not lost that small town or small community feel. When I first was there, I think the population was probably 5,000 or less, and now we've blossomed to latest census probably over 50,000. But there's still a great sense of community there. you use that Ridge Rat moniker. We used to take it as a badge of honor.
I had plenty of friends.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of friends that I had. Well, I went to Palmetto, right? But I also I was a DJ at a skating rink, which was Kendall Skating Rink.
Oh, yeah.
So it was literally a combination of people from Pinecrest, Cutler Bay or Cutler Ridge, and Palmetto Bay, and they all used to hang out there. I worked there for 5 years,
Right.
so it was great. So I met some of my best friends were actually from Cutler Ridge, Cutler Bay.
We were considered ourselves more of a working class community combined with the military community. So proud of who we were. We were proud of our schools, and back in the day we did pretty well in the athletics. Palmetto used to be better than us, but until we came along and took some of their talent and started giving a little run for their money.
Yeah, I told you you're my mayor too. I told him earlier today that I own a bunch of different residential properties in Cutler Bay. So let's talk about tax increases. No,
right.
I'll let you slide. I'll let you slide on that. So let's talk about Cutler Bay. You bought some land, or you did a land swap.
Right.
Okay. And you're getting ready to build town hall.
Well,
how's that coming down?
All right.
Or going
So
down?
I guess you have to go back a little bit. The original, when I was first a councilman, you have this piece of land in the geographic center of Cutler Bay, which people refer to as the potato field. And I've always been an advocate of having like a small town community center, a park, a gathering place to really put the mark on the community where people can gather and, hey, this is Cutler Bay. This is our signature, our central park, so to speak, on a much smaller scale, obviously. And, there's been many plans, developers wanted to develop there, but every council person, I think, since the beginning has always had that dream, that wish that maybe we could do something like that. So last year, before my term, the land swap was initiated. I think Mayor McDougall worked on it. Mayor Bell worked on it, and it was getting close. So finally, we were able to get the deal done and swap what is currently our town hall, which is an office building near Southland Mall, right by the Turnpike. It was costing us money to be there, so we finally were able to pull off the land swap, and now we can move to the next step, which is one involving community involvement on what do we want to do there. We got the land, but right now we have to figure out how we want to develop that park and that town hall. How much is going to cost? How much do our residents want to spend on that? Keeping in mind that this is a legacy project. This isn't just something for the next 4 years. This is going to be something that's going to be around 50 or 60 years from now.
No, I think. Listen, I love community centers. I know that. While I was on the council of Palmetto Bay, we bought some land that I got in a lot of trouble for buying it, and the plan always was to put a community center there right next to Village Hall, and take out the charter school, because there was going to be a charter school there. But a couple folks used it, during the run for the election, and now we're sitting there with a piece of land. But hopefully one day there will be a community center there, because I think it's a perfect location.
Yeah.
It's right.
I think it's important for Cutler Bay. We had the advantage of when we were first incorporated. I think the first council all was first of all, you had a pristine choice piece of land with nothing on it. It was in the middle of a home, so we had the opportunity to kind of like have a vision of what we wanted, and it's helpful to have so many council members involved with the same type of vision. So marching in the same direction makes it a lot easier.
No, it's good, and they don't use it for political gain if they don't agree with it. Okay, so let me read some of these off, and then I got to get back to my questions, because we got over an hour worth of questions sitting here on my pieces of paper, and we will get to the bridge, 87th bridge issue in a little while. It's coming up fast and quick. Great video on truth and issues. Faced a lack of grid completion and lies from the mayor community to your north on this being rushed. When he is done as mayor of Cutler Bay, see, this is a nice compliment. Can he please run for Palmetto Bay and help the residents here?
Don't plan on moving, but thank you.
You can educate the listeners on when you will have a seat on the table at the TPO, how many apartment projects and the number of units are there work for Cutler Bay, especially along US 1 and the Old Cutler Corridor. Congratulations on the community center. It's unfortunate Palmetto Bay is only community where the dreams of a community center go to die. Okay, so those are the comments. So let me get back to the question. So So when do you think there is reasonable for breaking of the ground on a new village hall or a new
For community center? This year we'll probably start to do the community involvement. And so nothing will break ground this year without a doubt.
So you'll have charrettes.
Right. We'll have
Yeah.
charrettes, get some community involvement. And then, we have two things we'll have to do after that is the design. And before we can even do the design, we have to see if our residents is something that they want and want to pay for. This is not something we'll be able to finance out of our regular budget.
So you have to go get bonded.
So we'll have to go get bonded to see if that's something that the community would want to do. I would hope so. Again, I think that the small cost per resident would be well worth the benefit of having something like that. So before we break ground, it's 2 years out at least, I'm guessing. And, we've got a great staff, and they've been known to make things happen a lot quicker. And that's the beauty of having a great staff is we can have the ideas, but, we don't have the experience to get it done. And Ralph and his team really know how to get things done, expedite things. So, I'll say 2 years at a minimum. It's hard for me to say, but it may be faster than that.
How's Ralph feeling?
He's feeling great. He's doing good. Talking today, he's doing well.
I send my regards to Ralph, unless he's watching, and I hope you feel better.
I'm sure he is.
So a couple of years, you get to stay in your present location for a couple of years. Are you paying rent or?
Yeah, we're paying rent.
You're paying rent. Were you paying rent? You weren't paying rent beforehand.
We weren't paying rent. We own the entire building. We were leasing the rest of it out, but we were losing, $500,000, $700,000 a year on it. So we kind of got rid of a little bit of a burden, and governments aren't good landlords. We don't have the same business incentives, tax incentives, those kind of things to make money. So it's better to let that be in the hands of people that know how to manage real estate and market real estate and use it as a profit. It's better for someone else to do that. I'd rather just have our own town hall and our own municipal buildings that we have to deal with, and again, let the businessmen make the profit.
Yeah, I think what you took away 40 or 45 potential single family, or was it homes?
Oh no,
was it more?
It was 540 units, I think it was.
Was it?
Could have
Okay.
gone to 13. We have two lands that
Yeah.
we're dealing with. We have the 13 plus acres over where the land swap was done, and that was residential units with a high density or medium density. And then we also had the 8.5 acres in Old Cutler, which was low density, and that was about 24 homes there.
Okay, yeah, that nothing like increasing traffic flow.
Old Cutler is a perfect place to add more homes, right?
It's like a rated. I think it's a rated F right now, so it would probably be F minus.
Right, and that's been something that's been real consistent for our council. Is you have to have smart growth, and smart growth usually sometimes means limiting the growth. And so we've actually taken steps to take land away out of the developers' hands to keep it green, and at times that's costing us money.
I think it's money well spent.
Yeah, again, they're not making any more land.
Yeah.
So, for example, at 8.5 acres, if we didn't take it now, then it would have been built on. So you couldn't wait. It's either buy it now or it's going to be built on. Same thing with the land swap deal. Is we didn't do that land swap, somebody's going to start building on it, and you can't take the houses off and put a park there later. So it's a legacy project, something that my children's children will be able to see. They'll probably never know the story. And quite honestly, there are risks for a council to go ahead and do that. Nobody likes to spend money, but luckily with the 8.5 acres, we've got an EL application out there, so it looks like we're going to recover. If it goes forward, we'll recover at least half of what we spent on that land. So, you spend $8 million to protect land and you get $4 million back. It's not a bad deal. And not to mention, we're looking for other grants. So in the long run, we might get this entire thing paid for without having any money out of our pocket, yet have green space for our residents.
Yeah. Did you apply for any EL money?
We did for the 8.5 acres.
Yeah. And did you get any?
Well, it's going through right now. It was back in October, it was moving forward very well. But then, COVID kind of slowed things down, the election process and new commissioners and a new mayor. There's a transition process, but I'm very optimistic that we're going to be successful.
And that will be a refund? Or how did you?
Yeah, it would be a refund. I don't know if you want to call it a refund. Yeah. It's like hey, here's $4 million for your purchase, but now we are in partnership with the county on it. That's okay as long as nothing's going to be built there.
No, I think it's great. I mean, we have, not to reference Palmetto Bay, but we're looking at 485 units at the old Burger King headquarters. We'll see what happens with that. Before we talk about the bridge, talk to me about Southland Mall.
Southland Mall. So Southland Mall went to receivership. There was a company that was shopping the note out. I think I don't know if they've made a decision on it, but it's close to buying the note out. We have rezoned that area. First of all, it's an opportunity zone. So if any business moves in there, they can get a tax exemption or tax reduction for 10 years. It's a great thing for new businesses wanting to move in there. And we do think that it will be redeveloped as something different. I've had many talks with people that want to come in and build mixed use, to people that want to come in and build storage units, all kinds of things. There's been some interest for perhaps a hospital. We've been reaching out to the Beacon Council to see if there's any other ideas for people moving in there. I'm really excited to have a hospital move in there. I think there's a need for a hospital in our area. There's plenty of opportunity in the area. You got all those arterial roads. You have the Turnpike and the US 1 all meeting up right there. So it's a central location for this part between the Homestead Hospital and the Kendall Hospital. And there's some interest. So a lot of interest right now. I'm not sure who's going to be pulling the trigger, but I do suspect probably in the next 4 or 5 months, we will have a much better indication on who's going to want to move in there. Real estate agents, developers, investors have been reaching out to our town hall saying, hey, what do we need to do? And the way that we originally approved those plans, again, we approved it for a mixed use type of development, something you'd see in downtown Doral or downtown Dadeland. And if you come in and build to the code, then you never even have to go in front of our council. So it's designed to be friendly to investors come in to build the type of development that we want. And it's also designed for higher density because it is along the US 1 corridor, what we call the transit corridor. And again, we've been fighting for rail. We lost that battle. So BRT was finally, I guess the letter of intent was signed by the mayor yesterday. So to go forward with that. So BRT is going to be a step above bus service. And we're one of the only cities along the corridor that are designed to go ahead and support mass transit in that area. So we'll see if that actually happens or whether we get some hospitals or other jobs down there. That's the other thing we've been looking for. We've been working with the Economic Development Council and South Dade Chamber and Chamber South and the Beacon Council trying to figure out how can we bring more jobs down to the south, because that really is the key to getting rid of traffic, is if you don't have to drive north, then all these issues are relieved.
Yeah, that location is great for the triple play with live, work.
Live, work, play?
Live, work, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and play, we need some restaurants there to play.
Yeah, we actually, believe it or not, 5 years ago, the company I work for took a gander at that shopping center.
Oh yeah. And
we decided to pass on it. But it's interesting because do you have new zoning now for that shopping center? What's the height? I mean, restriction, or is it something that you're going to come in front? They're going to present a package.
You could go up to 18 stories.
Yeah.
But when you start talking to some of the groups that are actually building skyscrapers, they come in there and say, that's great, but it's really not realistic to build over 8 stories because you have a bunch of new guidelines for sprinklers and everything else. So even though it's zoned 18 stories, going back from 2007 or 8, it's really, realistically, I don't expect to see anything over 8 stories there.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper when you cut off at 8.
Yeah,
it really is when you're talking about construction. All right, let's talk about 780. This is a perfect timing because of the 87th Avenue Bridge is such a hot topic. Again, let me ask you a question. How far in advance were you notified that this was that Danielle Cohen-Higgins was going to bring it up to the Miami-Dade Commission?
Somewhere, I guess, around 3 or 4 o'clock the day before.
The day before. Okay, so it was Monday.
Right.
Monday at 3 or 4 o'clock. You went down there. The former mayor Peggy Bell went down there to speak on behalf, of course, on the 87th Avenue Bridge. Did you see anybody else down there?
There was John Quick from Palmetto Bay was there, and we also had another resident from Cutler Bay that spoke.
So there were basically 4 people.
4 people that spoke on the item, and there was 2 after that. I don't know what they spoke on. Wasn't sure. in the COVID days, they usher you out very quickly. You say your piece and they give you a hook and they throw you outside. So I wasn't able to listen to the speakers after me.
What's interesting is from what I understand from one of the commissioners, that she was very impressed that you could go down there, and Peggy Bell would go down there, and she was a little curious why nobody from Palmetto Bay went down there, but we'll talk about that a little later. So
I got to tell you, I mean, for myself, it was difficult to like, okay, wait a minute. So whatever I had planned the next morning, I had to try to shake up a little bit, but it's an important issue. I want to.
No, I think actually, I've had so many conversations about bridges, especially on the air. It's probably one of the hot topics because of the transportation issues that your community has and Palmetto Bay has, and the fact that we don't really have reliable mass transit right now. And there are people, I've always said that there are people that it takes a half an hour to back in Palmetto Bay, District 3, can't get out of, they can't back out of their driveways.
Right.
So, but my feeling has always been, and I've said it numerous times, if you're going to build one, build four. I mean, let's just get them all done. You can take them down like dominoes, but at least put them on the plan.
And, I would be right now. The traffic issue is so bad. Again, the development in the south end of the county has just been exploding for the last 5-6 years. Everywhere you turn, you see a new building going up to the south of us, yet we didn't see any of the infrastructure keep up with it.
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah. So now, granted, so the bridge is part of a plan to alleviate traffic. BRT, I hope will help. We've got all these feeder systems to help feed the BRT. We have Go Connect, and we have our shuttle to move people over there quicker, and that's great for getting people from Cutler Bay into the south downtown, or to Kendall, or to where they're working. But that doesn't help the people that are trying to get their kids to school, or if they have a local job, or deliveries, or the AC repairman. It doesn't help any of that stuff. So you still have a combination of all these people trying to get to work. Some going north to go to their offices, some going to Kendall, some trying to get their kids to school, and that all just compounds. And I think you've seen the traffic, and we did drone footage showing traffic backed up from the circle on 168th, going all the way down to past 184th Street, all down to 87th Avenue, almost Old Cutler. It's just mind-boggling how many that many cars could be there.
So you got a whole community, and a community that's held hostage by not having north-south roadways. You got the BRT, which is supposed to come into play in the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, so that's not going to alleviate anything right now. And you have Old Cutler Road, which are supposed to have some circles on it, which I was told that it would be a couple years. So the one of the quickest fixes right now, when people get back on the road, is to do the bridge. I can't see the bridge taking that long.
And again, I think it's really important to remember that there's not going to be one magic fix.
No.
BRT is like, BRT's here, no more traffic. Yep. No. Traffic circles, no more traffic. Every little bit is going to take a little more pressure off of the 82nd Avenue. And I think it's important to remember that, like during COVID times, or when school's not in session, the traffic is bearable. And according to the traffic studies, just that reduction of just a little bit of the traffic, that intersection, will make it much more bearable. It'll reduce the rush hour traffic's like 4 hours now, to reduce it down to 2.5 hours or 2 hours. So it's a remarkable improvement just by having different alternatives. And if you just rely on one, you're going to get nowhere.
No, it has to be holistic, right?
They've been building
a holistic approach.
Yeah, they've been building incrementally, right? And now look at the amount of building that we have. It's not one big project. No, it's build here, build here, build here. We have to do the same thing with our infrastructure to help get the traffic to move. Improve where we can, improve everywhere we can. And quite honestly, we need to use the county roads, the arterial roads, as they're designed to be used, to go ahead and move traffic quicker at a higher volume than your neighborhood roads.
Well, okay. So that would be, if you went back and you looked at it, you'd have 2 off 77th, you'd have 1 off 87th. I think there's one over in Cutler Bay that they built. I can't remember exactly what street it's on, but they were talking about building one there. Goes back years ago. I don't know if you even know which one they were thinking about.
We got one in Caribbean that's going to be rebuilt, but
I mean, the fact of the matter is when you have people that, quality of life issues and they're being held hostage, you got to look at everything. Right. And I guess it's interesting because it passed unanimously on Tuesday in front of the commission, and now it goes to the TPO in the next couple of weeks for their stamp of approval.
Right.
And I'm expecting it. I'd be shocked if there wasn't a stamp of approval.
I'm hoping so. I know when Daniela Higgins brought that forward, she's been pounding the pavement in the area for a year and a half, 2 years, talking to all the residents. So she knows the issues, she knows the griefs. And when I was running for pounding the pavement as well, campaigning for mayor, I heard the same things. Almost everybody I talked to say, "What's the number one problem in Cutler Bay?" Traffic. I can't get to work. I can't get my kids to school. It's the quality of life issue. It's so debilitating. And you think about it, when you're spending an extra hour a day, hour and a half in traffic a day because of a bottleneck, it can be infuriating. And 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month of your life is gone sitting behind the wheel and not letting that one guy that pulled out of this driveway that's been waiting for 20 minutes.
It's awful. And literally I've talked to, I know that there's going to be conflict between District 1 and 2 and District 3 in Palmetto Bay because, the North doesn't want it, the South wants it. Of course, your community wants it, but you got to look at literally what people's lives are like and figure out some way to fix it so they do have quality of lives. And they're talking about a half an hour to get out of District 3, which is crazy because of the accumulation of traffic from, I'm sure we get Homestead, get Cutler Bay,
Goulds area.
Everybody's coming through, and everybody only has 2 north-south arteries to run on, and that just doesn't work.
And I don't think it's fair to the people that live on 87th Avenue or the people that live on 82nd Avenue having to take the brunt of all this traffic. I get that the people that live on 87th Avenue north of the bridge don't want the additional traffic. It must be very quiet back there. But it's, again, it's a county road. It's an arterial road. We need to go ahead and share the burden of this traffic, and that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, and that's why I said if it's in addition to 87th, it should be a couple on 77th, and we because like I always said, if it's one faucet, somebody's going to take the brunt of it, right? But if it's 4 faucets, you're going to have it trickle here, trickle there, and that's just the way it's going to work. And you gotta be a good neighbor and literally share some of the burden.
I would hope so. And again, I understand they're wanting to preserve their quietness, but we have a lot of working class people that need to go to work, and we don't need to make it any harder on them than necessary.
No, I agree completely. Right now, I know that since nobody went down to the commission on Tuesday morning, that the Palmetto Bay Council is working on a couple of resolutions to send anti-bridge, to send to the commission, to send to the Miami-Dade Mayor Cava, and to send to the TPO. And it's almost like somebody should have been there from Palmetto Bay, in my opinion.
You did have John Quick.
Yeah, a council member should have been there, or the village manager should have been there to express their opinion. And I have a lot of respect for John Quick, but it's just he is a resident, and I'm sure, I don't know if he was hired or not to go down there to speak on behalf of Palmetto Bay or not.
Again, the last minute as far as us getting involved, I don't think that's the real issue. The real issue really is what the fixes for this traffic solution and what the county engineers have been recommending. If we take
for years,
if we just take the politics out of it, and it's like, all right, what does the staff say for the town, for the county? And if you just let the staff do what they're supposed to do, and we take the politics out of it, then I don't need to go down there.
Yeah.
And nobody from Palmetto Bay needs to go down there. Just let them. All right, they're engineers. We're not. Okay.
You and I both know you can't take politics out of the bridging on Palmetto Bay.
Unfortunately not. And I've heard people say that. Well, now we're really not pitting a town against town.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I don't think you are.
Because listen, I love Palmetto Bay.
Yeah.
I love that town. It is our sister city to the north, and we need to work together to try to make South Dade a better place, along with the other mayors down here and the other leaders. So it's not town to town. It's just one issue
Well, it's
that
actually-
we have different
yeah.
opinions on.
Yeah,
And
but we have a different opinion within Village of Palmetto Bay. If you look at Facebook, and I don't know if you follow the what's going on Facebook as far as it, I mean, there's kind of all kinds of infighting between District 1, District 2, and District 3 about the bridge. I mean, and they're not even nobody's even listening to each other. They're just getting really mean and nasty. But that's what
mean and nasty is not going to listen.
you know?
There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser.
Mhm.
Mean and nasty is not going to resolve anything. It's by the end of the day, we almost have, I guess a universal agreement on trying to make our communities better. Now, how we get there are different ways. The bridge issue, it's okay to have different opinions on it, but we can't really let that stand in the way of us working together on all the other issues that we have. It's only one issue. It's a very important one for the people to the south, but politics is involved, unfortunately. I, for one, would be an advocate of just remove the politics, let the engineers make the decision. If they have a better solution than I want to see it. And I'd probably be for it. But right now, I don't see any better solution than having this be part of the puzzle to relieve traffic.
Listen, I gotta give Danielle Cohen-Higgins props because she just became a brand new commissioner, and she's come out of the gate to try to, in somebody's opinion, whether improve or not improve the lifestyle of the people that she represents.
I would give her props as well. Again,
not a lot of politicians would do that.
And
by the way,
and I'm very appreciative that she did. But also, you got to remember, she was pounding the pavement door to door, and that's all she was hearing.
I know she lives in Palmetto Bay. She
Yeah.
knows what the
but this is and she heard this from the Cutler Bay residents, as they're just like, please help us, please help us. So, again, that was a bold move, and I appreciate it. Taking action, immediately. To fix the biggest problem that she heard while she's on the campaign trail, while she's talking to people face to face, she came out and decided to fix it right away.
No, I definitely give her all the props in the world. Let's move on past the 87th Avenue Bridge. What's your plans for Franjo?
Franjo, we were successful in obtaining a grant. Park or road?
No, road.
Road. Okay, we were successful in getting a grant from the county to go ahead and do a redesign of Franjo to get traffic to flow easier. I don't know if you're familiar with Caribbean Boulevard in Cutler Bay, but used to be in the same condition. Not a great street to drive down as far as aesthetics, but we redid that one, and now it's a much prettier street. The aesthetics are great. We did the same thing to Old Cutler, so we're going to do the same thing to Franjo Road. We're in the design portion of it right now, so we're going to have curbing, so you don't just have rocks and the shoulder going into rocky swales. We're going to have bus pull-outs, so when the buses stop, people can go through them. We're going to add some traffic circles in places that make sense. We have one intersection on Franjo and Cutleridge Drive, which is very, very dangerous. We've had a number of accidents which resulted in some deaths there. So that's going to be a big improvement there as well. It's just going to be a great project, and it's something that's needed to be done for a long, long time. So I'm glad that the county is going to partner with us and help us get that done. Both Caribbean and Old Cutler won awards. So we're hoping to get another award for this
Old
one.
Cutler's great. Like I said, when you guys did that, when you first, I was shocked and very happy to see what you guys did on, and your circles seem to be the right sizes, which I've always had complained about our circles. I was like, why is our circle so small? It's called circle envy, but don't tell anybody.
Gotcha.
So it's great. So how about bike pass?
Bike pass. There will be a bike pass or on each side of Franjo as well. So, I guess right now they call them bike pass. They're often used as golf cart pass as well.
I like your golf cart community. I think that's great. Just keep them out of the car. We're starting right now to kind of recognize the golf cart community in Palmetto Bay, and it would be nice if the present council worked a little bit more with our golf cart community.
It's one of the things that, it's, again, if you want to build community, that's a great way to do it. Because in your car, you drive by people, you don't say hello, you don't see them. When you're in a golf cart, you have a much easier time to stop and say hello, talk to your neighbors, get to know them. When we first started golf carts, I remember the police used to call it our golf cart gang. It's like, hey, there's a lost child or a lost dog. The golf cart community will be out there looking for them. Our golf cart parades for our holiday events, 3 miles long. It's just, 500-600 golf carts. If you're the car that's waiting at that stop sign, you're not so lucky. But everybody else, last parade, all these people are having parties along the parade route. So they're inviting their friends and neighbors, and they're having Christmas parties or Halloween parties outside, and just your entire families are just watching all these golf carts go by. And it's going back to the Norman Rockwell days of small community, knowing your neighbor. And I would encourage any community to go ahead and try to develop a golf cart community. It's greener, it's slower, and it's just a great feel for the community.
Yeah, my comparison is the boating community to the golf cart community. So you've never passed a boat, if you have a boat, and or you've been on a boat, where the people, you wave to them and they don't wave back to you.
Yeah.
And usually, for the most part, that the boating community is very, very nice to each other.
Right.
You don't get a lot of people that are mean and nasty while they're out on their boat.
Right.
So the golf cart community is basically in my opinion, the same type.
I love it. Yeah, I love, I have a golf cart. I use it all the time. The only place I can't go right now is Black Point, but I'm working with the county to see if we can go ahead and get that fixed as well, because it'd be a nice way to go out and enjoy a nice breezy Sunday afternoon or brunch down there. So we'll see what we can do there as well. So
do they prohibit the golf carts from riding along the sidewalk?
Well,
going down to Black Point,
you're not allowed to ride on the bike path. It's
Okay.
prohibited. Motor vehicles are prohibited.
Mhm.
However, the state legislature did allow for anything that's under 30 miles per hour or under,
Mhm.
or less than 2 lanes, then you can drive a golf cart on it. So that's great, except for 87th Avenue is 35 miles per hour. So I've been advocating that the county reduce the speed limit on 87th Avenue to 30 miles per hour for 2 reasons. Number one, a lot of bicyclists use that road on the weekends. And, last year we had a bicyclist killed, run over by a boat trailer on 87th Avenue. So perhaps just a little bit slower speed can allow people a little more time to react and avoid the bicyclist. And as well, it would allow golf carts to go out to Black Point and enjoy the park amenities out there as well.
So this is interesting because I'm going to learn something right now. So you're allowed to take a golf cart out on any road that speed limit is 30 or under, no matter if it's a state, county, or, well, I'm sure a state road doesn't have a 30-mile-an-hour, but whether it's a county or city or village road, how does that work exactly?
Now you're asking me to go ahead and be a lawyer here.
Well, if you don't know the answer,
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I do know though that it is allowed.
Mhm.
Our previous Vice Mayor Ernie Soshin actually went up to the state legislature to argue for that, and they allowed that in our area. So, and our own community obviously allows golf carts on any of our city roads. Granted, you have to have your golf cart inspected,
Mhm.
turn signal, safety placard, seatbelt, those kind of things. You're supposed to carry insurance on it as well, so you have to sign an affidavit. But we've had this in effect for 10 years, and very little issues as far as accidents. You have more bicycle accidents than you do
Mhm.
golf cart accidents. The only real issue I think you really have is minors driving them. We still got to work to
Yeah,
get minors
I
off
gotta,
of them.
I was gonna say, as soon as you stop talking, my only problem with golf carts, and it's unfortunate because we had an accident a couple of years ago with somebody 14 or 15 years old
Mhm.
driving them with your friends. I just don't think
Parents
minors should
shouldn't
be
let them
allowed
do that.
behind the wheel of a golf cart unless you're playing golf.
I would
You-
agree. Like,
you
if you're
know-
on the golf course, it's fine.
Yeah.
Stay away from the bunkers and the
Yeah.
canals, and you're fine.
Yeah.
But in the community, we haven't had an issue with it. And again, I'm not saying we're never going to have an issue.
Mhm.
Someday there is going to be a golf cart accident with a vehicle, and somebody's going to get hurt. But right now, there's pedestrians and cars. There's bicycles and cars. It's inevitable to happen. But I don't think it's such an overriding concern that you'd have to stop it, especially because of I think the positive benefits it brings to the community.
So are there any, because we have this issue, and I'm gonna have to play it off you because, I'm from Palmetto Bay, of course, and you're from Cutler Bay. Any 10-foot sidewalks coming to Cutler
No.
Bay that you are aware of?
None that I'm aware of right now.
Okay, just curious. We touched upon this a little bit, but how disappointed are you that we're not getting rail and we're getting BRT?
Yeah, it's.
And don't give me a politician answer, unless you.
All right,
want
I'm
to.
disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
disappointed for, because when they implemented the half penny sales tax, first of all, when you go back all the way back to the 80s.
Oh, by the way, I'm having Alex Pinellas on a show in a couple of weeks, so
Okay.
we're gonna go back to the half penny,
Okay.
half cent sales tax.
So go back. I'm very disappointed. When the idea of rail coming down all the way down to Florida City was back in the 80s. So they built the Kendall piece and said, all right, as the population develops down there, it's going to come. Population's developed down there by far, but it didn't come. Then they said, well, you know what, if we get this half penny sales tax, we'll go ahead and be able to start to develop transportation like we needed, not only just north-south, but east-west at Kendall. And we didn't see that happen. So we've seen years and years and years of promises by our elected officials that we're going to give you something, and nothing's been done. So finally, last year, I guess the TPO said, hey, the preferred alternative is BRT. Very disappointed. A little bit, I guess, not as disappointed once I saw the design of the BRT. And I haven't been out to see the BRT that they have out in LA or in Denver. But I was talking to Mayor Peggy Bell, former Mayor Bell, and she went out and saw it, and she said it is very nice. It's very similar to rail. The only difference is it's not a one seat from Florida City all the way to downtown. You're gonna have to make a change. Mm-hmm. So as long as they give us some type of rapid transit, which people will be comfortable with a wider door, so you can, 5 or 6 people can get on at a time instead of one person dropping a quarter in, or, slowing it down. As long as you have comfortable places to wait for air conditioning while you're waiting for the BRT.
You're definitely going to have that. I saw the plans.
Yeah, so those kind of things, it's going to be as close as possible, and there is the ability to upgrade to rail in the future.
Yeah, on grade rail.
If the ridership increases enough. The Board of County Commissioners put a number on there last year of like if ridership increases like 35,000 a day. That I don't think that number is really based on science. So I think Commissioner Keone McGee had that removed. So now we can actually look at the science of what the numbers are to see when we would upgrade to rail. But right now something's better than nothing.
No,
so we've had a lot of
promises.
The
the sooner the better. But I always wondered why they never looked, or maybe they looked at it and it just went right over their head, in taking rail to Cutler Southland Mall, and then from Southland Mall the BRT the rest of the way. But that's kind of
where you stop. Once that area is built up, it'll make a lot more sense. Right now it's not. So like I said, I think I said on Michael Miller's show, is like, I don't want perfect to be the enemy of good.
Yeah.
And I'm really tired of promises. I'm tired of promises. We need relief now. We need relief now. People can't wait an hour and a half to get to work every morning, and it just makes angry people.
And your argument goes back to why we need to put in a bridge or bridges sooner rather than later, because you're not getting relief now.
Right.
And starting September, when COVID subsides, hopefully, knock on wood, you're going to see the same amount of traffic as you did previous to COVID, and it's going to be people sitting in their car. I drive from my house, which is on 152nd Street, basically, to Coconut Grove, and it takes me an hour. And so I feel really bad about people who are sitting in their car an hour and a half to 2 hours, and this is each way though.
Right, and they're only they're only a mile and a half south of you. Yeah, it's taking another 40 minutes.
Yeah, so you feel really bad for those people, and you figure they have to come up with something. They have to alleviate the stress and the strain, because can you imagine what it does mentally to somebody to sit in your car for? I don't like driving.
Yes, because I've had to do it.
I'm not a big fan of sitting in my car, even though
I carpooled, so it made it a little bit easier. So on my day I would sleep, but on sometimes it's up on my day to drive. I made it my day to be the passenger. I would just take a nap for an hour.
So let's switch gears a little. Did you guys get any money from federal funds for COVID relief?
The CARES Act?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know how much you got?
$500,000.
And somebody filed the paperwork to get. How did that happen? Because
again,
I know Palmetto Bay missed the.
That again, I'm going to have to give most of the kudos to my staff. I, and along with most of the other elected officials in Dade County, attend League of Cities Zoom meetings, and we have way too many of them, where they would kind of give you the basic information on the CARES Act, and then when we were trying to get the county to go ahead and just distribute the money directly to the cities. There was a fight between the League of Cities and the county. We couldn't win because we didn't really have a vote. So once the county decided what it had to do, they gave us very little time to react. Say, hey, listen, get your projects in, what you want to do, in like 2 days. So our staff was Johnny on the spot and had already had some ideas. A couple of the other cities in Dade County had some ideas, and submitted the request as soon as possible. And while this was going on, there was still, a little bit of a fight going on of, will the county just give us the money directly? We didn't want to gamble on that, and I guess took the conservative route of saying, all right, let's just stick this in there and ask for it. And we got it, and we used that for, we split it into 2 pots, one for mortgage assistance and one for child care.
Mortgage assistance for residents?
For residents.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so majority of the money, and then we had another $150,000 that we had saved out for child care assistance. But the need for child care assistance was not that great. So we were able to shift that money over to mortgage assistance. And
so you basically, the town of Cutler Bay really didn't take the money to offset any of their expenses. They took the money to help residents.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, because you also had the town's expenses.
Yeah.
You can get reimbursed through FEMA. So
Correct.
You can do other things to get that reimbursed.
Did you get reimbursed from FEMA too?
I don't know if we received the money yet, but we will recover a good portion of it, most of it, I believe.
Do you know what that dollar amount is? Am I just pulling things out of the air? But you applied.
We applied. I think it's somewhere around 1.9 million.
Wow. That's impressive.
Again, that's
yeah. No, that's okay.
Don't hold me to that because I'm
going to hold you
again.
to
We
it.
talked about stuff not falling out of the
I'm going
head.
to hold you to it because these are questions that. So
the opinions expressed by the guest on this show are those of the guest only, and not of the town of Cutler Bay.
We won't hold you to it. But basically, you got $2.4 million because somebody was basically applying for both FEMA and
right.
federal.
And again, we have a very experienced, efficient staff. I'm going to give them kudos again. Cutler Bay was ranked the most efficient fiscally run city out of 90 cities in Florida, #1. And that's primarily because we have a really great staff. We have a small staff. We contract a lot of things out, but a staff of 32. And Ralph Casals is our town manager, and he's got a lot of experience and does a great job. And he's got a lot of great people around him doing a great job as well. Robert D'Addario is our finance guy. He's been doing it for a long time. So it's really helpful to make sure you have the right people and staff to.
And they've been there forever.
They've been there forever.
And very loyal.
Yeah, I'm very loyal, and they're happy. They enjoy building and maintaining the community as much as I do. So we're all in it together.
You see any deficits, past or present, in that you guys are running?
Well, for the 4 years prior to this, we were running a deficit. So we're dipping into our reserves. And that was due to a reduction in our millage happening about the same time. So, hindsight is a lot easier to see, that your projections for increases in property values are not going to offset what your expenditures are. So we did have to take a millage rate increase this last period. So we weren't running a deficit anymore. You can't spend.
No, you can't
keep
run a
dipping
deficit
in
forever.
reserve. So
I'm a CPA.
it wasn't
I
great.
know that.
Yeah. So, but I think the average home saw an increase of maybe $15 to $27 a year in your property taxes for Cutler Bay's portion, to go ahead and make sure that we can maintain our police force strong and maintain our parks strong and our public works and all those things that make Cutler Bay a great place to live.
What kind of deficits were you running? I mean, how much did you eat out of do you remember what the deficits were and what you ate out of the reserve?
I can't remember. A lot of factors fed into that when you have a hurricane come along and you have to go ahead and spend a lot of money. So it's really to stick a number on it.
Yeah.
Other than that, you could look at the trend and see every year was dipping into your reserves, $1 million, $2 million. We used to have really strong reserves and they were dwindling down. Still more than adequate, but not as strong as we like to have. So we're building that back up as we get ready to go ahead and continue some really good projects like the town hall. We want to be in good financial position to do that.
So how about your park system? How's your park system going?
Our park system is great. We Franjo Park was devastated by a hurricane, and we finally got some money from the county and the state to help rebuild that, and along with money from our own reserves. So the thing is going to be completely being rebuilt. New fields, new drainage, new lights, new concession stand, shade, new parking lot with plenty of golf cart parking. It's going to be premier state of the art. It should be opening up in June, July, I believe. So looking forward to that. That's the park that I grew up on. So look forward to we can have the.
Just right off around 212, right?
Right off just 200, 200 and right in Franjo, right between.
I used to when I first graduated college, I used to live in Le Club.
Oh yeah.
So
okay,
it's
yeah,
like right
yeah.
around the corner from the club.
Yeah. Okay. It was a fun place to live back when you graduated college.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a hot spot. So, but we're really looking forward to getting that park back open again. The rest of our parks, we have Lakes by the Bay Park, which has always been busy. We recently just built a canoe kayak launch, so that our residents can go ahead and use that to explore some of the quiet waters back behind Lakes by the Bay Park, close to the bay. So I'm really happy with the progress we've made there.
Well, it sounds like all around that you're really doing something for the community, and so they're active, right?
Yeah.
And they're enjoying life, and they have a little bit of partying with the golf carts, maybe not partying, socialization. And it's like I said, it's when I grew up, my feelings were different than they are today, and everybody's done a really good job with and what
Thank
they've
you.
done with
There's a reason
town.
that Cutler Bay is ranked number 7 by Realtors.com from some of the hottest cities to move into. So Cutler Bay is doing well.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I have the Chicken Shit Award to give out this week, so cover your ears. And you have anything to say to everybody or anybody out there? And I'm sure some of your residents are watching.
You know, say that again. You have a chicken?
Yeah, it's a long story. You'll enjoy it.
Okay. All right. No, you know, I just want the residents to know of Cutler Bay that number one, you have to really give kudos to our staff for acting on all the vision that we have as a community. Our council, it's not just our council's ideas. We're very in tune with the community. They share things what they want with us. We don't always agree with each other, but we always know that we're looking for the same vision and find a way to go ahead and look for the best idea, even if it's not mine. Look for the smartest man in the room, even if it's not me, to find a way to get things done. And after it's done, we need to make sure that we respect each other and appreciate each other for being part of that community and making each other's lives better. So that's my goal.
And I like the fact that you get out of your council meetings at 9 o'clock.
I am the.
That is.
I'm the most efficient mayor in Dade County.
That is great. That's
yeah.
like Pinecrest. They get out at 9 o'clock too.
Yeah.
You follow Robert's rules, and everybody talks once, and then you vote.
No need to argue unless you're going to change somebody's mind, right?
No need to argue, and it's very hard to change anybody's mind.
Right.
Anyway, great. Thanks for being here. So let me tell you, we started this last week. Okay. It's called the Chicken Shit Award. Okay. I told you I only cuss once. And it goes to the individual or individuals who self-interest or self-preservation comes before the people who they serve or represent. And I had a different person that I was going to give the Chicken Shit Award to, but I got an email from the Better Palmetto Bay, and it was an interesting email. So I decided to read the email. Cover your ears, because we're going to be talking about somebody who's to the south of you, and I know you don't like politics.
I don't like politics, and I don't know if I'm down with that. So I'll allow you to get your Chicken Shit Award, but allow me to
do this. And like I said, this is my opinion only. And if you want, cover your ears, okay?
allow me a comment after.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You
Okay.
can always comment. Okay, so this award goes to Palmetto Bay Village Council, because at the hearing on Monday, February 1st, a day before the county's hearing regarding the bridge issue, they failed to act. During Monday night's council meeting, the mayor and the council could have instructed the village manager to attend the county hearing on Tuesday, yet they failed to do so. During Monday night's council meeting, the mayor and the council could have drafted an emergency resolution letting the county commission know the village official stance, yet they failed to do so. The mayor could have written an email letting the county commission know the village's official stance, yet they failed to do so. The mayor could have picked up the phone and called Commissioner Cohen Higgins and informed her about the village's official stance, yet they failed to do so. The mayor could have picked up the phone and called community leaders to attend the meeting, yet they failed to do so. Although you're right, our attorney was there. Mayor Cunningham could have attended the county commission hearing on Tuesday, yet they failed to do so. So the award goes to the 5 elected members of the Village of Palmetto Bay Council this week.
Yeah,
yes, and you can comment anytime you want.
I respect the council of Palmetto Bay. I know they are doing what they can to let their opinions be known. They've been very, very organized and voicing their opinion on this issue. It's not always easy for people to, especially on the last minute, to share go down into the Board of County Commissioners and share them. So I was able to, but it was not easy. Generally, something like that, you expect tons of people there. The fact there was very few people there the day of COVID is difficult. So I want to take the politics out of all these things.
So would I.
And I've had the pleasure of working with many of the members of the Palmetto Bay Village Council, including the mayor, on a number of other issues where we can work together and collaboratively move things forward. I want to continue to do that. Hopefully this one issue won't evolve, get in the middle of that. But these jobs aren't always easy. It's not always just the council. It's the staff that you have around you. It's the support of the public that you have around you. And so I would encourage everyone to just take a step back, try to take the emotion out of all these issues and figure out what the goal is and how do you work together to get that. And sometimes it might mean that we have to swallow our pride, suppress our anger, do a kumbaya moment, shake hands and move forward. So, well,
I'm hoping you can do a kumbaya moment. And I'm hoping that, everybody realizes that this is a significant issue with quality of life, especially in your town of Cutler Bay and portions of Palmetto Bay, that people are struggling, and we need to move something forward to get people out of their cars a little quicker. Next week, I have a representative from Voices for Children, which is the Guardian Ad Litem program, coming in here. A great nonprofit and charity group. They will be talking about their program. I hope everybody tunes in. It's this program runs from 4 to 5. I will say one thing. John Henry, what a classy mayor Cutler Bay has. I completely 100% agree with that comment. So I'll see everybody next Thursday at 4. And thank you once again for coming.
My
I appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully you'll be back on in a couple months.
Hopefully we'll see if it's
And not on Mike Miller's show.
I'm waiting for Grant to invite me.
No, Grant's not allowed to invite you.
Okay.
So goodbye, everybody. Good night. Stay healthy.